Welcome back to another episode of Mind, Body, Spirit. I'm Dr. Kate, and today's guest got her start in the world of nightlife, entrepreneurship, jet setting across the globe. But today she's working in the wellness and well-being entrepreneur space is the best way to describe it. She has been creating amazing content in Los Angeles and other places. Please welcome to the show, Miss Anne-Marie Martinez. Hi.
Hi, thank you.
Did I describe what you do sort of accurately, or do you want to?
Sure, yeah. I'm a conscious lifestyle and brand development specialist.
Okay.
But former nightlife entrepreneur, now well-being entrepreneur, and taking all of my skill set, my experience in my past life and bringing it into my new world.
And that we connected, and I told you I felt very similar because my journey there was sort of like that also, right? And you had this sort of revelation after working. Do you want to tell us more about that and how? Yeah, just take it away.
Absolutely. Well, I say that I woke up in nightlife.
Okay.
I was living in Dubai in 2015. And I was getting ready for work. We owned a bunch of nightclubs. I had to work during the day and at night. And this one particular night, I fell to my knees and I cried and I prayed. And I said, how much longer do I have to do this? Because I really felt like I was seeking more purpose and meaning. I was seeking a deeper connection, and I didn't know what that was. I was having a spiritual awakening in a sense, and I just did not know what was happening in my life, so I was freaking out. And I gave everything up. I gave my clothes to church, and I quit my job and my cushy lifestyle, and I went on a journey of self-discovery.
And how old were you at that time?
How old?
No, at that time.
Oh.
Okay, no,
well,
wait.
Not that long ago.
Oh, really? Okay, so
2015. No, that's okay. I'm 41.
Oh, okay.
So we're in 2019.
It's just interesting because I'm looking through your website and your photos, and you've been on every red carpet, and we're not talking about now. Now it's easier almost to jet set, but you were at 18 flying all around the world at every event with every celebrity. And that, as a young woman, can you speak about how that affected just your perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. I was in nightlife by the time I was 17 years old, and I learned from a promoter in New York. So I worked in the office first. I was very good on the phone with his VIPs. Back then, we didn't have social media. We didn't have cell phones. So I had to call everyone over the phone to get them to come to our parties, and I was actually really good at it. So the promoter wanted me to start going to the nightclub and meeting with the VIPs, which then turned into me working with the celebrities. So at a very young age, I was wheeling and dealing, working with the high net worth, the celebrity, the VIPs, and also being exposed to a world of luxury. I mean, I was drinking champagne at 18. There was nothing else I would drink.
Right. Yeah.
So to answer your question, what that did was it really gave me a false perception of what it was that I was chasing and looking for in my life and what was going to fulfill me. Right.
Right. And did you feel at any point during, as a young woman, that you found fulfillment in that world?
I did. I thought that I really found a place that welcomes me. I was in an industry of lost souls, and I myself was lost. So being the life of the party and getting to jet set around the world made me feel like I was a part of something. It made me feel like I was succeeding. It made me feel like I was living towards something that I didn't grow up having.
And at what point did you start to feel like there was a loss of meaning? When did it shift from exciting and the coolest thing you could be doing to empty?
Yeah, I think it was when I left New York in 2011. I felt like I wasn't progressing. I felt like I was on a hamster wheel. I was definitely doing too much partying. Mm-hmm. I didn't have any balance, and I knew there was more for me, but I just did not know how to go about it. And I didn't realize then that in order for me to grow, I was going to have to go through some hardships for the next few years. Those hardships came with a lot of pain and discomfort, which then led me to an opportunity to go and live and work in Dubai, where I really plateaued. That was a springboard to me getting the opportunity to appear on those red carpets more as a public figure and get the opportunities I so thought I wanted. But I got there and then realized that was empty too.
That
And
there
that
was
wasn't
nothing
fulfilling.
there.
There was nothing there. Mm-mm.
So we all see this world from, especially people who aren't in big cities, see this world in the tabloids and the press, and it seems very glamorous and very exciting. Could you talk a little bit about the other side of it? Just because I want to spread awareness.
Yeah, absolutely. What you see is not what you get.
Okay.
Being in nightlife and entertainment comes with a lot of pressure, a lot of people pleasing.
Okay.
Being in the hospitality industry, being in customer service, you're constantly looking to please and wanting to provide a service that makes the other person happy. But in the end, when we are not living a conscious life, we are servicing those who are not awake in themselves. Therefore, we are repeating
Perpetuating
bad
that
habits.
same cycle.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right.
I never looked at it like that, but that makes so much sense. And do you feel like there was a part of yourself that was underdeveloped because you were performing to a standard that you thought was how you were supposed to be?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I not only have worked on my spiritual development, but my personal development has been very important. I've been doing that for over 10 years. So I always felt like I was either dimming my light, which I didn't know I was doing back then, right? But I always felt like I was not speaking my truth or not excelling the way I should because people would make fun of me, or they would say I was getting too deep, or I didn't make any sense, right? They'd laugh at me, they'd critique me. And because I wasn't confident then, I didn't know that what I was doing was actually very profound and very wise of me at that time.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. So let's talk about your spiritual journey and what happened after you decided to leave all that. And that is a huge thing that you were, you sold your clothes. That's amazing.
Oh, I gave them away.
Oh, well, okay. Yeah. That's even better.
Yeah.
What did that feel like?
Oh, I'll never forget being on a Skype call with my mom. And I said, Mom, things are going to change very fast and I'm not going to be here much longer. And she was like, what does that mean? You're moving again? Because I was always moving, right? And I said, yeah, but I'm going to move really far again, and I'm going to prepare for a big move. And I just looked up at the luggage that were in that room. I had a bunch of luggage set up, and I just began to purge and give those clothes away, bags and bags of clothes, and just stripping myself of everything that I thought now defined me. And it was very liberating and scary, but I knew that I was so ready to walk away from a world that did not serve me.
That's amazing. And it reminds me of the message of the Hindu god Shiva when he talked, the destroyer, right? And a lot of people who do Shiva chants and mantras, were you doing that at the time or no? Is it just a coincidence?
I was doing all types of things, yeah.
But they talk about being careful with his mantras because you could end up being a homeless nomad with no things because he destroys everything that's not the higher self, which sounds a lot like what you were doing.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what was happening. And the people that I worked with were like, what the hell is going on with you? What are you doing? The next thing you're going to do is what? Shave your head? Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, yeah, and I went through like these weird, I didn't know how I was going to wake up in the morning. Every day was a new day for me.
So did you have a spiritual practice leading up to this decision, or did you sort of have an enlightenment all hit you at once, or?
No, I had the first initial wake up back in 2011 after taking the Landmark Education Forum. And living in the Turks and Caicos right before that and doing Reiki. I was doing Reiki with a master on the island, and I started to learn about my chakras and where I had blockages, and I had a lot of blockages in my heart chakra. And that for me was a really big deal. It took a lot of work the last few years to open that up, to open up to love myself, and to let others in. So that work started there. And from there, I started doing a lot of Dr. Bruce Lipton and the teachings of Abraham.
Okay.
And that really helped me get by and get through, because I really understood how energetically what we put out there and the frequency that we're vibrating on is what we get back. There were times that I wouldn't leave my house for 2 days at a time because I'd be sitting there in the lotus position like, yeah, I'm going to manifest my rent. And I would, but it got to that point where I didn't leave the house because I was so comfortable being in solitude.
And I think sometimes what we're doing when we're alone, that vibration has a profound effect on everything around us just as much as what you're doing when you're interacting with people.
Absolutely.
And that's a disjunct that happens, right? you could go into solitude for a few months and still have an effect on the world.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, and grow.
And grow,
And
yes.
grow where you don't think that you're growing, but you absolutely are. And it's when you go back into the real world and you have to interact with people that you see how you're showing up.
That's so beautiful.
Thank you.
So tell me more about where that led you, and tell me more about what you're doing now.
Absolutely. So it led me to really take a deeper look at how I wanted to show up. How I wanted to treat myself. I definitely feel there was a lack of self-love, and I needed to figure that part out. And it took a lot of different mentors and teachings and courses and praying and falling and some depression to get to where I am today. And I'm still learning, I'm still growing, but it really made me take a deeper look at how I wanted to show up in my purpose, and how I believe so much in your passion being your purpose and your purpose being your passion. I'm a firm believer that you have to follow your heart, and you have to do what makes you happy, and you have to follow your dreams. And sometimes we think that our dreams are unattainable, but they are absolutely are not. You can have anything that you dream of and desire. You just have to believe it. So I decided to take my experience in PR, branding, event production, having that global network that I do, and really creating work that was more impactful and that has substance and that can really transform lives. So I'm doing a multitude of things. I have a global consulting agency, and that agency specializes in lifestyle and brand development. We offer services to private and corporations. And we offer a service that is very much like an extension of your own business. We're here to work with you in a way where we help you develop your brand, develop it in a way where we can enhance the image and expand its reach. But we do that with those we really believe in, who we know have a calling, who they know they have a calling. Because we have the access, right? But you don't just give it to anyone. You got to work with those that you know want to do it for the greater good as well.
Right. I'm so glad that you brought it there, because I was going to ask you, as an entrepreneur, and you're very savvy in business, and it's amazing that you're finding your more conscious life, right? But you still, in the well-being, in LA, in the well-being circles, there's still some corruption, right? And there's still some, greed-focused, right? Can you speak about what you might have seen, what you've encountered, and how you determine?
Yeah, absolutely. My first year in LA, being back in America and deciding that I was going to ground instead of foundation here, probably was one of the hardest years of my life.
Okay.
I felt very disconnected. I found myself trying to fit in when that's just not in my DNA, and it never has been. I've always felt like I didn't belong, therefore I always created my own lane. I always wanted to bring people together who I felt were just genuinely good. And when I go or have gone out in Los Angeles, I have felt like I am not being seen. And I already played in that space, so I'm not doing that anymore. I decided that it was time for me to create my own lane again. Mm-hmm. And I am now producing these transformative events under the platform called Involution Experience. And these events are to help shift consciousness, help heal humanity, help awaken by creating an environment and a social gathering experience that either glamorizes the conscious and spiritual community so they get more of a sophisticated experience, or offer to the mainstream market an experience that changes their lives with something that they actually recognize. I'm being very, very strategic about how I bring this together, because we are all one, but sometimes we have to see what we're comfortable with in order to get that change. So it's a very soft sell approach. We are fusing scientifically proven methods, biohacking, spiritual modalities in a party environment with 432 hertz music, sound healing, via silent disco, projection mapping, VR. So I'm really excited because I feel like I am walking in my purpose even more so now. I'm not selling alcohol in a facade. I'm now selling a transformative experience.
So that's really interesting, because I think what you said is you're creating this all-encompassing experience for everyone. So whether or not you're dabbling in well-being and wellness because it seems like the cool thing to do, maybe you haven't been doing the other work leading up to that, but you happen to find yourself in this experience and maybe some aspect of it speaks to you, and then maybe you go out and start learning more about, meditation or some form of yoga or some type of, right?
Exactly. Like these events are for everyone. The tagline that we have is, we want you to have your own aha moment.
Okay.
Because that's what it's about.
Right.
I had all my aha moments on my own because I was open, because I was a seeker, because I was curious. I gave myself an opportunity to be open to the possibilities without judging them. And when I got there, I was able to pick things up that actually helped me in my journey and my growth. And that's what people need. They need the opportunity, the tools and the resources to be presented to them. It's not about shoving anything down anyone's throat, but allowing them to have their own aha.
I love that. And I've been to one of your events, and there were a lot of points of intersection where you could kind of just learn about sage and learn about like certain types of teas and drinks and then, right, and art and meditation. So I'm so happy that you're doing that. It is a new approach. It's not one thing. It's an immersion, right?
Right. And for me too, it's like, okay, well, how do I also stay true to myself and be authentic Anne-Marie? Like, I do like the glamour.
You're kind of a socialite a little bit, right?
I mean, I wouldn't say that, but
Right.
I'd like to think I definitely am blessed enough to know a lot of different people, and I can dib and dab out of different crews and hang out, because that's just me, how I grew up. I'm a little bit of a chameleon, and I like so many different types of things. So it allows me the opportunity to meet a lot of different types of people.
Absolutely. And I think part of what's happening now is we've all become very depleted, emotionally, spiritually. We're not as connected as we were because of the culture of America for so many decades and the direction it was moving in materialism. And everyone's sort of, has a thirst now for more. And now we're seeing a lot more of this popping up, right? These things that used to be niche and like some cult or something in Venice, right?
Exactly.
And now they are becoming more mainstream. So we need people who have experience on both sides to kind of bridge that gap.
Thank you. Yeah. And that's what I feel I'm doing. I'm bridging the gap. And I believe that anyone with a following, with a big following, has a great responsibility. And we need to repurpose our platforms. Yes, we can show up how and what we like to do, but are we using it in a way where we're educating, where we're sharing material that is going to educate and empower?
Absolutely. I love that. Well, we have a few minutes left. Did you want to touch on some of your maybe daily rituals or some of your spiritual practice or what you're working with now?
Yeah, absolutely. I like to mix it up. I believe it's really important to create your own ritual, your own ceremonies. I'm half Colombian, so in the Latino community, you grow up around a lot of intuitives and spiritual rituals. So for me, the way I begin my day is the second I get out of bed is I open up my arms and I say, thank you. Thank you for waking up, because not everybody gets that opportunity. And when I open up my arms, I then say, God, how will you use me today? I am here to walk in your path. Please use me the way you believe I need to be used today. I then burn some Palo Santo or sage, which now I'm not going to do so much Palo Santo because of what's happening. I mean, I have a stick left at home, but I want to be conscious like that. Mm-hmm. Like if I know that this is not good for someone else, then I want to be able to honor that. Mm-hmm. I have a journal to do affirmations and a gratitude list. In addition to that, I like to sit in meditation. I like to do 5D transmission meditations and really get myself out into another space, because I know that at the end of the day, we all live here, but some of us are experiencing things up here, and we need to learn how to play in both worlds and how to still stay grounded while we're doing it. And I try to pay it forward as much as I can. For me, it's very important to observe and to share what I have when I can, when I see that the opportunity is there. And what I mean by that is we're in Los Angeles, where there's a high rate of those that have been displaced, right? Those who are homeless. Mm-hmm. So I try and feed someone or buy them a meal when I can. But I also volunteer and work with an organization called Lunch on Me. And Lunch on Me feeds over 10,000 homeless a month. So I'm now working with them as part of my ritual, part of my give back.
Wow, that is amazing. I'm so inspired by you. Thank you so much for coming and sharing all this information about your past. I know it was vulnerable, but where can people find you if they want to get involved or come to one of your events?
Absolutely. So the main motherboard website that you can go to is AnneMarieInc.com, ANNEMARIEINC.com. And on there you can find the website to AMI Global Consulting.
Yes. That's where I saw all your red carpet photos from over the years, which was really fun for me. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been another episode of Mind, Body, Spirit. You can watch this full episode replay on Apple TV under the EverTalk app, on Roku, and maybe online a little bit if we post it there. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.